Hello and welcome once again to The Source. Today we have a very special guest. Special guest, tell us, who are you and what do you do?
So my name is Christian Torres, and I'm a senior recruiter at Next Level Solutions, and I'm located in Guaynabo, Puerto Rico.
Ooh, Puerto Rico. That sounds exotic.
Yeah, I mean we like to call ourselves we are the ombligo or belly button in English. We are the belly button of the world. We're a small, tiny 3.2 million people island in the Caribbean. We are the the little island among the biggest islands like Cuba, Dominican Republic. We are the little brother. So then we are a U.S. territory. So you can travel to this exotic location and you don't need a passport. So if you're looking for a quick getaway, definitely Puerto Rico is the option.
Nice, nice. I've never been there. When I do visit, which I hope to one day, we'll have to hang out there. Uh,
Definitely for sure. Have some mofongo. You will enjoy it.
Cool. I'm curious, sourcing in Puerto Rico versus sourcing other places in the world, like compare and contrast sourcing in Puerto Rico versus sourcing in the US. Well,
for
other
example,
places rather.
for example, in terms of technology, because I'm a senior tech recruiter in Puerto Rico, the workforce is accustomed to do basically everything. You
Okay.
have a developer who does the requirements, design, coding, testing, and also rollout testing. In the United States, you see that the roles are more separated into departments. Like you have BAs, systems analysts, business analysts. So that's basically one of the main key differences in terms of tech roles. Also, like you will see that Puerto Rico is really big on education. So you will find, for example, I was just interviewing a candidate who has a bachelor's degree in computer science and a master's degree in project management. So we are really big on our mothers and fathers always tell you have to study, you have to study, you have to study. So that's basically one of the key things that we have. We're a highly educated. Not that the U.S. is not highly educated, but
Sure.
but U.S. is not as big on degrees that you have to have certain degree to work with us. It's just. But in Puerto Rico, yes, it's a main difference. We have to convince some hiring managers to say, hey, try to look past on the degree because sometimes the experience can compensate the lack of a degree, and that can be used as a sales or pitch point to say, "Hey, you can come with us, and we can help you finish your degree," because we are really big on that.
Nice, nice. So very, very educated workforce. Um,
Yes.
Let me ask you this. When I think of Puerto Rico, and I know a lot of people think of Puerto Rico, think of great food, great music,
Yep.
beautiful people. They also think about the tropical storms and some of the
Yes.
natural effects there. How should people be thinking of Puerto Rico in terms of infrastructure? Because I know you guys went through a lot over the
Yeah.
past few years
Yeah.
from Mother
Right
Nature.
now, yeah. Right now is a combination. As every country, we are not perfect. We are in a process of rebuilding it because in 2017 we were hit by Maria, the
Mm,
most destructive hurricane in Puerto
yeah,
Rico history. We are still rebuilding on that. And also, we had that in 2017. Then on 2020, we had earthquakes, and also we had COVID. So right now, that says a lot about our resilience. You
sure.
see that people get in line. You see the traffic jams all the way to the south of the island to help people. So that talks about right now our infrastructure is not as optimal, but we as citizens are taking really pride on how to make the government do the things that they promise to do. So we are really advocate on that because right now the situation in Puerto Rico is that a lot of companies are moving here to take on the tax benefits, but also in a way, yes, it's great because we are bringing the investments, but we also want to have we are standing up because we want to create a balance. Okay, hey, I live where your vacation, but we also want a Puerto Rico for Puerto Ricans as well, in whichever and whatever likes to come here and works. Since our company, the company that I work with, Next Level Solutions, the CEO came here, adopted a little dog, which we call Sato, which is a mixture of breeds, and he fell in love in Puerto Rico and he stayed here. And we are creating great opportunities for Puerto Ricans, for developers, QAs, project managers, and everything. So that's the key in order to bring the investment to Puerto Rico to help us, along with the federal funds that we receive, to be working on that infrastructure rebuild because we have a lot of work to do, but we are getting there.
Since you do a lot of tech recruiting, is the how would you describe the tech community there in comparison to say, I don't know, Silicon Valley, where they seem to be everywhere?
Yeah, Puerto Rico right now is a really Microsoft oriented. You will find a lot of .NET developers in Puerto Rico because mainly it's more of the corporate one. Then you will find some people who are doing some freelancing, social media, web development. You will see a lot of diverse. There are companies that are bringing their 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 software companies to Puerto Rico to do their startups. CEOs are moving there, so you see a lot of like typical Silicon Valley vibe in terms of like a lot of startups in Puerto Rico. Next Level Solutions started as a startup because we only been in the market since 2017, 2018, more or less. So that's the kind of environment. But Puerto Rico is purely a Microsoft on the corporate big side. It's a really Microsoft oriented market.
What's the cost of living comparable to, say, I don't know, New York or Atlanta, where I am?
No, I mean it's not as expensive as New York, but definitely due to a lot of people moving here who are making investment, the cost of living has gone up. So
Okay.
mainly the sales pitch is the conversation is not about hey you can bring your talent. You can hire your talent from Puerto Rico because it's going to be cost effective. Yes, there's still like a margin of low cost, but it's mainly about the tax benefits that you can, for example, create a hub in Puerto Rico and then export your services to either US or Latam. And there are also another laws that are allowing people to work from Puerto Rico because from the perspective of candidates, for example, me, I worked as a talent sourcing partner for Google, but I living in Puerto Rico. But the only thing I could do that is working through Corn Ferry. So through the Corn Ferry RPO recruitment process outsource, I was able to work for Google from Puerto Rico. But sometimes they said U.S. remote, but then when Puerto Ricans apply to the position, they say, no, we cannot allow you, you cannot work from Puerto Rico, even though we are a US territory, we have social security, we have passports. So it's more like how the government can adjust the laws. And I think that they're doing it right now. Like, hey, you can hire people from Puerto Rico because we are US citizens as well. So it's kind of like I mean, there are some industries, there are some regulations. For example, if you're working for a bank, JP Morgan, you have to be located near the state because law changes. So it's just a matter of like evaluating and perspective. But a lot of companies are coming here to Puerto Rico and establish their business here. For example, Optum, a part of United Health Group. Optum right now is one of the largest employers here in Puerto Rico. They've been here 6 years, and I think they're like more than 1,000, maybe 2,000 employees right now. And Optum, they're providing good salary, good benefits for the people in Puerto Rico.
I'm glad you keep mentioning that Puerto Rico is a U.S. territory because a lot of people tend to think of it as, I don't know, part of Spain or something.
Yes, we
Yeah.
basically we were part of Spain, but then during the is the war, we call it Hispano-American War. We basically were transferred to Puerto Rico. But yes, we are the U.S. territory. We use the I-9. We have passport. We have social security numbers. So yeah, people tend to think that Puerto Rico, for example, if you receive a package from FedEx, sometimes we count as an international territory
Hmm.
for some reason because due
Hmm.
to the we are a commonwealth. So yes, we're not a state, but we are not an independent country. So we are like a I don't know what we are right now, to be honest.
Gotcha, gotcha, gotcha. Now, do a lot of companies in Puerto Rico have to deal with H-1B visa issues? I know that it's a touchy subject in some
No,
companies
no, Puerto
over here,
Rico,
but
no, since you're a US citizen, you have a US passport, you don't have to do any of the visa process. You just or either hire me to work here from Puerto Rico. You can establish a PEO company who can do the payroll for you, or the person can move to the state and work. So it's just a matter of like work relocation, but we don't have to engage on any visa because we have passport and we are US citizens.
right, right. I get that part, but I'm wondering for your tech roles,
Yeah.
um, when you hire somebody outside of the United States, is there
Okay.
particular H-1B visa issues particular to your
No, basically
area?
depends on the client. I had clients, for example, that I was working with a client a couple of years ago that we were hiring Android developers,
Hmm.
and there were not enough talent in Puerto Rico, so we bring some talents from Mexico because Mexico has some agreements with the U.S. So yeah, you can do process HB1 visas and then bring people to Puerto Rico, and people can sponsor people, and then a lot of the Latin American community see us Puerto Rico as a bridge because we are near. So if they get sponsored to work in Puerto Rico, then they can do the jump and then work in the US. It happens a lot in tech. There are companies that are dedicated to like, okay, hey, let's provide a solution to the talent scarcity, and then we could do background checks and everything in order to bring those people from each area. For example, when I was working as a consultant in Experis
Hmm.
an IT US company, we were part of a group called MECA, Mexico, Caribbean, and Central America. And we could, for example, I could charge a client a bill rate, and then I could have a offshore, near shore team working on that development, and that the entire processing money changes. That was transparent to the client. So there are plenty of solutions and advantages of establishing depending on the usually it's more of HB1 visa. That is the one
Okay.
that requires.
Yeah, I know we met at a recent SourceCon event, and you saw some of several people talking about sourcing. How would you say sources are in Puerto Rico compared to the outside in comparison to other sources in the parts of the United States? Would you
Yeah,
say they're on
basically
par or yeah?
yeah, basically Puerto Rico is a LinkedIn Indeed market. For example,
Okay.
if you use tools like Career Builder, the data is not as accurate as it should be because right now Puerto Rico is working on having more accurate, real-time updated data regarding job market. So yeah, basically the main sources in Puerto Rico are like LinkedIn, and also Indeed since in comparison for like using dice or the ladders or career builder. So yeah, it's basically the main tools are just LinkedIn and Indeed for Puerto Rico.
Okay, so so if I were the typical sourcer in Puerto Rico,
Yeah.
I would rely on those websites heavily. I wouldn't use different Chrome extensions and some of the other tools. And
Yes, you can do some Chrome extensions as part of your strategy, but the main bulk of candidates you will find them in LinkedIn. And also, if you would like to see more job market data, then LinkedIn is the way to go. Yes, I use, for example, Mighty Sourcer, Mighty Recruiter,
hmm,
the techniques I learned at SourceCon, like with the LinkedIn operators and everything.
okay,
So yeah, definitely you can add to your sourcing strategy. But the main tools will be like LinkedIn and Indeed, and then you can add on those tools that you learn like Chrome, like extensions and everything. Because right now, the thing about Puerto Rico is it's such a small market, but you will notice that we have a lot of agencies in Puerto Rico. So we are source. If you're a sourcer, either corporate or agency, you are competing with agencies with other companies here in Puerto Rico. So it's an interesting environment because it's just a matter of like timing because your candidate is interviewing with several colleagues of you, so makes it really interesting, and the competition is so, let's say, fierce that this is definitely helps you get to another level. It keeps you on your toes, definitely.
sure. So I imagine to be a very successful recruiter or sourcer there, you have to have a lot of personal relationships. You have to really know the
Yes.
people.
Yes, you have, for example, I'm part of engaging on the strategy of community engagements. Yes, I do sourcing, I have pipelines, but I also engage with other tech companies. I already hosted two Lincoln local events in Puerto Rico. We awarded five scholarships to HR women
Oh,
to
wow.
learn about AI tech. So definitely, we are really big on providing on the community. So you have to, yes, you are sourcing, you can do it in 100% remotely, but we are also a big on networking events. So you have to put some feet on the ground. There was an example in which I created some hashtags about at one point I was hiring some farm techs in Puerto Rico. So I was visiting the schools and everything. And then I was taking pictures in the schools on how the pharmacy technician took classes, and then we created hashtags, and then the traffic in our in the linking website of the company went up 800%.
Wow.
Crazy. Yeah,
Wow.
so yes, you can do the sourcing, and then you go, but you also in Puerto Rico, it is required to have some feet on the ground, like do events, be a speaker. I was a speaker in a roundtable about agile HR. So it's really on that. It's I really like sourcing in Puerto Rico because it's like a really holistic approach. It's not
Yeah.
like me. I'm on my desk 24/7 looking at some pipelines. So I have the ability to go to conferences, do some networking, and have fun. Have
It's
fun.
it's almost like to be successful there, you have to, in addition to networking, you almost have to be an influencer in a sense as well. I mean, people have to know
Yes,
you, right?
yes. People have to know you. I have more followers in my LinkedIn than my personal social media.
Okay.
And also becoming a lot of people in Puerto Rico are working on becoming a LinkedIn top voice, for example. So yes, you have to become an influencer because since the market is so small, you have to think outside the box in order to
Mm.
differentiate and promote your employer brand better. So yes, you have to become an influencer.
Also, I'm wondering too, with so many agencies there, there aren't as many companies bringing recruiting in house because I would imagine, although there are certainly a few big companies, the majority of the clients you service are smaller companies.
No, the majority of clients we serve are bigger companies. Like
Oh, okay.
for example, Manpower could have a big client, Abbott, let's say, and they have a national agreement. They
Hmm.
just transfer it to Puerto Rico, and then you have a lot of agencies like working in the government. Like our government has a lot of employees, and then we rely on services like for COVID, for example. One Manpower was and still is one of the biggest um human capital providers for the government. So yes, a lot of company, but right now the shift is changing. Companies are enhancing their in-house recruitment to rely less on agencies. So now agencies are evolving to be as consultants, like providing, like for example, Manpower. Again, they do a survey each quarter about employers' hiring expectations. So that's what I think. And I'm also concur with Brian Fink. I met him at SourceCon in Orlando. He's great.
Yeah,
So
he's the best.
how
Hey,
how,
Brian.
how the yes. So how the agency role will transform because we have the same abilities. We are using the same tools.
Mm.
We are targeting the same candidates. How can agencies and company can differentiate from others and still be of value to clients and companies? So yeah, it is interesting right now what is happening right now. We are in the middle of the new technological industrial revolution right now.
Wow. What is the one thing you wish all sourcers knew about sourcing in Puerto Rico?
I think to get out more and be able to expand yourself and expose to events such as SourceCon, because Puerto Rico right now we are really big on education about constant changes in the law, but we need more education on how to actually source talent.
Hmm.
So that and that's the thing that I would like to bring. Not to say that I'm the best sourcer of in the world, but this is a global mindset right now. So if people knew all the skills that I gathered for just visiting SourceCon one time, imagine, if we create a community of like really focus on talent sourcing. So definitely yes, to be more educated and expose yourselves to events such as SourceCon.
Very cool. Very cool. If somebody wanted to contact you and maybe continue the conversation, take a little bit further, how can they find you online?
Oh yeah, you can find me online. It's my kid. He was some popcorn.
Hey.
Say hi, Howie. Say hi, Howie. So
Hey, how
yeah,
are you?
just linking Christian Torres Pagan with the two of my last names. And yes, I'm really, really active on LinkedIn. So you look for Christian Torres, the Agile AI Power BI wizard, whatever you want to call me. So that's where you can find me.
Great. I'll make it easy. I'll put a link to it in the video description. Christian, thank you so much for your time. I really appreciate it.
Got it. Thank you so much, Jim.
AI. So many tools, so little time. What's a sourcer to do but stay informed? And one way to do that is SourceCon's AI Product Showcase. This is a very unique opportunity. Sponsors present for 5 minutes and then have 5 minutes to demonstrate live to in-person and virtual attendees how their product can solve a real-world sourcing scenario. Only a select few AI products will be featured on the main stage, so if anyone wants to share their AI product with the SourceCon community, reach out to sales@ere.net today. SourceCon community. The AI Showcase is a showcase you didn't know you needed. Always remember, SourceCon loves you.